right? And bring a strap over one of your shoulders. We'll take the Gomukhasana arms. So I've got this shoulder, and now with an inhale, this arm will come up. And I'm going to reach through it and step your feet as close together as is very, very comfortable for you. So it could be here, right? Maybe that's where you find your comfort. Or it could be a little bit closer. And when the legs are a little bit closer, you can access the front portion of the pelvis, the pubic disc, a little better. And then you could just pulse it into your body. This is quite nice. It's good for finding core. And then with an exhale, bring that arm down and your strap will be right there. Take this opposite arm up and lift. So you slide up a little bit through this arm, not just caught in the shoulder there, but you slide up a little bit through it and simultaneously take the elbow back just a touch. Now, careful, because many of us here will be allowing our heads to be forward. Do you see my head be forward? Maybe you can see. And instead, you're going to come up and gently even pulse your head into the lower arm there. So you can look straight ahead, right? This is much better up in the upper body and sets up a nice organization in the neck. All right, bring this one around as you exhale and take it behind and hold on to wherever you can find the strap or your fingers and breathe. You feel that little bit of effort that it takes to pulse your head back into your arm. Now, of course, I'm not with you in a room, so I can't watch you specifically. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. You might find it feels good. The muscles of our neck get locked into this forward thing. They're not used to having to draw and hold the neck, the head. Right? They're used to being down here and craning to hold your neck up. This is their natural position, way up there. Holy moly. All right, and let's release this side. Just let your arms come around any way they like. That's a good exercise for feeling what do they like? What do they organically want to do? Not the prescribed motion. Okay, here we go, the other side. And the arm comes up, and you've got this again. Maybe you can feel it when you pulse your back head into the arm up there, the lower arm. Maybe you can feel it gives a freeing down through the cervical region. Without that, it's a tendency to have a little bit of a clump in there. Soft under the tongue, all part of it. Now take this arm around and slide it up behind you. Hold on to something. And then back up here. This is primarily a lung posture. So you can feel that as well. You know, very, very direct into the top lobe, which you may feel in the upper arm, the front skin of the top lobe of your lung. It's the pleura, the wrapping of your lung. It's hopefully being freed to slide underneath the ribs. It has that ability, you know, it's not just clumped in there. It has the ability to slide. This is freedom and happiness in the lung. Just like all other aspects of the lungs have the freedom to slide on one another and on the wall, between the lobes, the whole deal. All right, let's take it out and inhale. Oh, my arms are going to do something kind of different this side. I didn't know that. That feels good. Now, that's a nice amount up here. Take your weight down into the earth. This is Vrksasana, tree posture. Take your weight down into the earth through one of your pelvic bones and legs and allow the other leg to come up spinning. And then take it back down because you're looking for this soft spinningness. You're not looking to get, how am I going to grow my roots down? How am I going to bring my leg up? Oh, I'm going to bring it up spinning. No, 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 no. Soft, yield into the earth, into the earth. This is the other leg. And then this one's going down. That's what's stabilizing this one coming up spinning. It's simultaneous. It's not set one up, do the other. Simultaneous. All right, let's go back to the first side. First, let's do first things first, right through the center. This nice warm that and strong of our legs, and then down through the one side and up simultaneous. The down is still going on the whole time, and then you place wherever you want your foot to be for this Vrksasana, this tree of you. Can you find that same embodied sensation up in the neck, the jaw, under your tongue? Whoa, the top. Take your toe down if the balance becomes difficult. The top, the jaw, under the tongue, and the sides of the tongue. The neck's not forward. The problem is if you look down, it will probably come forward. Try to look just straight out. Now, if it's been a long time for you, just take a toe down. And as you get the toe down, you have a little more stability. Slide your low ribs up off of your pelvis. Oh, now the top lung. Oh. And let's melt it down. As you're exhaling, feel what you're doing. You can't do it wrong. You're looking for the inner touch, the inner feeling, the watery warm that carries the air. All right, here we go again. So you're yielding into the earth with the two. Yeah. Now you go down, down, down with the other. And please notice this. It's not one and the other. You can see that shift in my whole body. It's actually the whole thing, the whole time. Practice. That's the most important part of this. It's not coming up and holding the posture. It's supporting, finding the support for the action. If you're not sure, keep your toe down so you can play with it. And then up in the upper, the tongue, under the tongue, the wide, slick under tongue wrapping around there. The top lobe long without throwing the chest out. It's inside. It's the lungs sliding up under those three ribs in the front, down in the back under those top three ribs. Stay with it. And as you feel it's time, begin to soften down. Something's still rising even as you're softening down. All right, now lungs still. Anjali Mudra. This is Garudasana. Anjali Mudra. Find a standing leg as you're in. So it's the same thing of everything going at the same time. I think this is a big level of leap in asana practice, is actually coordinating the movement of your body from the fluid relationality of your body with the earth, the air, the waba, and one to the other. Seriously, big deal. And it's about inhabiting these fluids. So the down, you go down to come up. You go down, do it. You go down to come up. Right? All right, here we go. Go down. And then yield into the one and step the other out. Ba ba. All right, you're going to wrap the extended leg arm under. And whatever you do, you can hold your shoulders or you can bring the whole thing. You can be like that. And then the extended leg, of course, wraps over. And there you are. And use your arms here to pulse into your thoracic container, your ribs. You pulse into them and use your legs to pulse and squeeze into the pelvic floor, the pubis, and the pit of the belly. So you're pulsing. Your inner touch is going into these centers and the organs. And you're just watching the ride. Fluidify. Now, how are you going to get out of here fluidly? Well, the same thing. You've got to go down to come out, down to come up. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, pull your arms through, soaring, gliding. Make it comfortable, you know. Your shoulders might be a little weird, whatever. Make it really comfortable for you. A sense of a continuous glide as you arrive at Tadasana. Here we go, the other side. Exhale, you're coming down. You're going down, and then you feel the sounds are great. Sounds are really nice. Now the extended leg arm comes wrapping around. Pulse. And then the extended leg comes wrapping around and pulse. The Ujjayi breath, again, is a fluid body breath, and it will be like a mantra to your mind. You focus on the sound and you focus on the sensation, the feeling that the sound offers in your body. The oceanic sound. And then go down to come up, yield down and push, inhale, rising, and exhaling, soaring. Let's take a moving combination here. So we're going to go from triangle to Ardha Chandrasana. So we get that down, 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 and then we get that flying again, the down, down, down in Trikonasana, and then the flying in Ardha Chandrasana. Use either a block or the chair. Again, I'm going to renew my my demoing with the chair because it's so important to be able to limit, really seriously limit the range of motion that you access inside yourself so that you can find these more refined movements. If you're right up against your edge, it's very hard to refine when you're right up against the edge of your range of motion. So step out, starting from step out, and then let's go down. You're going to spin for Trikonasana. You go down, up, down, so fluidity. And then here you sculpt that ischial. So you start from up in the hip. Don't start from your foot to turn the leg out. Why? Because you need the stability in this. If you were looking for articulation, you could go to the foot, but you need stability up here in your hip. That means you initiate from the pelvic bone, scooping buttock bone, ischial tuberosity around and forward, and then allowing your leg and your foot to spin, and then come up, and you feel the differentiation in the pelvic halves. You plant your ischial tuberosities down. You still feel this relational yielding fluidity. It goes down, and anything that goes down is going to come back up. Down, if it's alive, rising. Anjali. Inhale. That's the rising. And exhale. Relational yielding. And exhale a little further. You don't need to touch anything. If you don't have a chair or block, use your hand on your thigh and keep rolling. Now here, the back ribs, side and front ribs away from the pelvis. Same thing, right? And up through the top lobe lung. Yes. Top lobe lung, as it rolls up underneath the top three ribs there, as that happens, you'll find it quite easy to suspend the arm up. If that's collapsed, you're working muscularly, overly working muscularly. We always use our muscles. Muscles are good. All right, now let's make it into Artachandrasana. So come down over it a little bit, and I'm a little too close, so I'm going to scoot the chair and then step forward and place either hand or forearm on chair or block. If you're on a block, definitely your hand, and then begin to come up. So I'm not straightening and swinging. Not now, because we're looking at these fluid connections. So you go down, 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 and that side pelvic half is rising from the flow, and then the other side leg is coming out. So if you're on the chair, you might be up pretty high, that's fine. Or maybe you come down and take it a little bit lower, slide the whole rib cage headward, and then the top lung open, both sides, top lung, both sides. One is supportive, the other is expansive. Using that descent, right? There's a lot of balance involved here. Using that descent and the activity of the relationship to keep the whatever this thing is that we call balance, which is never, ever, ever, ever still. And then come around it, come around it. If it's still, it's dead. You're not dead. Touch. Oh, I got to yield down again. I'm going back to triangle. I got to yield down again, push, curl in, and then step. And then yield. And then push in and rise. Right? And then turning back. And let's step all the way together and into Tadasana again, and feel the difference on the two sides here as we continue. You feel a difference? One of the questions I have is, which leg feels more grounded, or do you feel a difference in the grounding? Grounding to me means being in active relationship with the earth, not trying to get away, not hardening against, not collapsing into, but active relationship, feeling, noticing, responding to one another. All right, so step on back out and plant it down. And then moving from up here, because this is a big motion and you need the stability here. So I'm spinning the front leg, buttock bone around, around, around. And I take it a little bit forward and down. Certainly not that way. Front leg, buttock bone, down and forward toward the low leg foot. And then I can come up here. I have to let the back leg bend to keep my sense of stability in the earth. If I do that, I'm locked out. So I'm just doing it this way. You can call it a variation on Trikonasana. If you have another way that you do it, which is fine, this is a variation. All right. And then you inhale and you open. I got all this stuff going on. And then, exhaling out and over. Relationality down, receiving, relationality down, receiving. Okay, so here in triangle, perhaps you don't have as much difficulty holding the balance, right? Perhaps. Well, you could do triangle on stick legs, and you also probably wouldn't have any trouble with the balance. But with this little bit of softer leg that we're exploring right now, play with that and play with the idea of the relationality into the earth and back up as the aspect that gives you the balance, and then slide the torso as we've been doing for today and roll the top lobe lung up. And this gives you reach heavenward. Right? Balance into the earth, reaching heavenward. And here we go. So coming out over the leg, over the front leg, even the step is very critical. So don't just drop and plunk and step. Really work it. You're going to get a little tired in your legs and your torso if this is new for you. That's not going to hurt you, you know. You just have to rest later. Yield down, yield down. Okay, I'm taking my other hand there because I'm not so stable on this side. It might be different for you. I'm sure it's different for you. And then push off and step. All right, now I got that leg under me, and I can begin to down and receive. The down and receive of the fluid, the rise of the up leg, the continuity of the down and receive. A little lively out there in the foot, right? So there's a spatial reach here. It's not all the liquid. There's a spatial reach. It's coming up in the upper from that top lung, and then whoa, out through the foot, which is light and spacious in the up leg. These are elements, right? We got the earth, water, fire, space. All right. Now to come down, it's the same thing. So maintaining this fluid body, relational, condensing in all the way down. You touch, and then you go back, and it's Trikonasana again, and deep in the earth to rise, and spin, and step. All right, now this next one is going to be a standing twist. So for those of you who know the names, it's basically a standing Marichiasana. It's a very simple twist. If you have a couch or a wall, you're going to take your chair to the wall like this, and I'll show you, and then I'm going to do it away from the wall so that you can also see how to do that. So it's the same thing, they're going down, just showing you the position now. And you come around, you can either take your hand to this front thigh, or you can take it to the wall with both hands on the wall. The wall side arm will be quite a bit behind you, and it's like this. All right, so I'm going to show you in such a way that you can pretend there's a wall, or in your life right now, there's no wall. So you're going to do it on the back of the chair, which is what I'm doing. All right, so we're going to take the right leg up. I'm standing right at the front corner of my chair there so that I can bring my leg up and step onto it. All right, now from here, take your left hand to the outside of the thigh and use your right hand on the edge of your chair, the top of your chair, to turn. Now, if you can't get good purchase on the chair there, try just scooting your foot a little bit forward so that you can get, you're just a little closer in to the back of the chair. Right, you're turning. Now, in this turn, question, can you find good purchase with the up leg on the chair? So the tendency is to have all the weight in the standing leg. And here, I'd like you to play around with, but how can I also maintain the active relationality of that top leg on the chair and allow pulsing and a breathing of the tissues all the way through me in this lovely, simple twist. And here we go. As you're inhaling, come around and exhale and step the leg down and stand in Tadasana. I think you'll feel quite a bit of a difference in the two sides of your body. Allow that right side body to melt, like it can just drip into the ground here. Whole right side body dripping into the ground. That's from all of the squeeze and the touch and that beautiful stuff you're offering yourself here. All right, the squeeze, the touch, and the nature of the posture, the spinning. All right, so standing on the other side, you'll bring your left leg up, touch, yield, and then the right hand comes to the outside. I'm just going to my knee because I'm not really spinning very far. If you're at the wall, your right hand can be on the wall and your left hand on the wall. At the chair, yielding down, that pulsing, pushing that goes all the way up through your body, length between the hip bones and the low ribs, which is completely different from this kind of length. I'm talking about the space all the way up, top lobe lung, and of course by now you have probably been turning. If not, no problem, turn with me. And then how about the head? tendency in all twists for just about everybody is to have the head forward. So take the manubrium up, follow up through the membranes of the throat to the base of your tongue. Don't just draw your jaw back, please. Allow the base of the tongue to levitate upward. Soft base of tongue, wide and levitational. And turning. Good. And bring it around. I don't know about you, but I did collapse here standing. I can feel it. I'm going to come back into relationship with the standing leg and around. It does take a lot of paying attention. And that paying attention is a big part of what makes the practice so meditative. You find your mind wanders, you take it back to the process at hand. Your mind will wander. That's its penchant. It likes to go out and think about things. You just gather it back. Well, this is what we're doing now. Like you gather a 2-year-old. You don't spank the 2-year-old and say, "Oh, you stupid 2-year-old. Why are you doing that?" Your mind does that. Say, "Oh yeah," and just come back. That's all. No judgment. Really no judgment. Really no judgment is different from what most people do. Really no judgment. You got to kind of love it. Why do you love it? Because that's the way it is. And you have love, and love doesn't care how it is. Love just loves. I'm going to use my hands on the chair for Uttanasana. So you may be doing it like this, or alternately, you could take some blocks. I think that's enough, blocks or chair, right? And then with an inhale, hands are on the pelvic house. With an inhale, slide up. You got a lot of info now. Maintain the relationality, this pulsing. Slide up with an inhale, just staying up here. As you're exhaling, allow the down. Feel the down as a fluid, not a bright muscular action, but a fluid descending. All right. And now, as you're inhaling, look up. Okay. Now, as you're exhaling, come around. And if your hamstrings are very, very tight, it's fair game to lift them up. But most of us, many of us, not most of us, many of us, hamstrings are not that tight, and you don't want to lift them up and draw them back. Just keep them, they still love the earth, right? And then you've got the blocks or your chair. As you're inhaling, you're going to slide out, which we often do in the Surya Namaskars. We're not just doing Uttanasana right now. Slide out. Don't arc and lift your head. If you need to see, don't do. Look at what I'm doing. Don't do. Buttock bones are lifting, belly is sagging. No, instead, you stay grounded in the earth so you can feel that up through your whole body. No hinging. That's wave out, right about there. And then exhale down. So I'll do it again with you. The inhale is wave out. You maintain the connectivity with your earth all the way through your body, and then exhale down. You may bend your knees if you like. You may turn your blocks any side. If you're on the chair and it's easy, you can rest your forearms and your head on the chair, right? Whatever, enjoying yourself here. A little contact. Spread your toes, pay some attention to the pads of your feet. Shift your weight a little bit from side to side so you can go into the pads of your feet and feel them. Big, thick, very strong fascial pads down there. Super, super busy stuff in the life, right? Now, here we go. To come up, bend your knees and come back up to your halfway position. Halfway. Now, in order to come the rest of the way, you're going to bend your knees a lot and swing your ischial tuberosities forward as your head rises. So, ischial swing forward. Inhale, you're rising, and you reach up with the levity of all you got, right up through the fingertips. Your legs are still dense and heavy, but your fingertips, your spine, and your coccyx are light. Exhale right down the front, Anjali Mudra. Pausing. And as you release your arms down from Anjali Mudra into Tadasana, standing easy.